Right. There was better consumer spending. There was better business investment. That's good. We expect those numbers to improve as we move through 2015. But the 3.9 number, I think it's a mistake to think this is the beginning of a new trend. I still think we're going to get out of this year with maybe 2.1, who knows, maybe a touch higher GDP. And next year, I think we'll see 2.8% GDP. So I don't think this 3+ number is the beginning of a trend. We're in a modest growth, modest inflation environment. I don't think that's going away anytime soon and could easily last a couple more years.
The one thing I would highlight, though, is that while it's true that you had a consumer that was a little bit better, the reality is the consumer still remains in this very tight band of, just north of 2%. And that's been sort of one of these very consistent stories over the course of the last couple of years. I don't think you're at quite a 3% economy. And again, I think it's hard to make that case if you're looking at a consumer that's still chugging along at about a 2% pace. I mean, after all, the consumer still is the key driver of economic activity. But what I would say is we are actually looking for a modest shift up in consumption. So that will actually start in the fourth quarter. We are looking for this modest acceleration to about 2.5% from a consumption perspective. Over the course of 2015, we actually do expect the consumer will continue to advance. And for the full year, we're looking for about 2.7%. So
it's this very peculiar mixture, and today is a perfect example. You got a great GDP number, you got strong housing, and yet the confidence number was a little sort of iffy. So actually that wall of worry that we all as professionals like to think is still there. And that's very supportive of stocks. And it's very typical that this happens, later in the cycle, which is where we are, and closer to when the Fed's going to start raising rates. So what we saw in September and October is something that investors should actually welcome from an opportunistic point of view.